pressure all around. It's now or never. So put the motor down. Let's take a straight cast. We're gonna fish it out. Good evening, people. Welcome to the show. It's your hump day cure for your fishing woes. Sit right back, enjoy the show. Everybody's talking about the Stray Cast Show. That's right. Yes!
Yeah!
That's how you do internet fishing talk show radios right there. Welcome, everybody. I'm Pat Renwick. Radios and stuff. I'm Pat Renwick. Straycast Outdoor Cartoon Television is on the air right now. Right now. Aora, as they would say in Switzerland. Aora. That's how you say it right there. Hey, you know what? We're going to have a good time again tonight. We're going to take one more Straycast with our buddy Shaw Grigsby on the Scaliposcope tonight. Yeah.
Oh my golly.
The Grisb.
Yeah.
Coming on at the 7:30 hour. I want to tell you right over here, this guy right over here with the beard, the bearded one. You trimmed your beard. No,
Larry?
Not our producer, but yes, but this guy right here, Ryan Pretzel Whitacre. Ryan Pretzel Whitacre.
That's popcorn. I don't get it.
Oh, popcorn. It's Ryan. I don't know.
I thought it was Dr. Milkshake.
They call him Dr. Milkshake.
I want that one to stick. It's never going to stick.
Hey, right here, Ryan, what is going on today? Who's on the hammer time?
I got Steve Mui.
Steve
coming
Mui.
back again because he got
Whoa.
second place at the Northern Open at Champlain.
He knocked the Champlain Beasts out of the box. Steve Mui. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! That's how we do it at Ashley Schaefer. Right there. Right there.
He told me he's muy frisky for the show tonight.
He is. Great. Keep your hands to yourself over there, Steven. Hey, this guy all the way over to the left, he is the conqueror of pillow pants nationwide. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you S. Quattro, the Southside Smallmouth Samurai, Bobby Bergeron.
Forgot about Lister Fiend.
Lister Fiend and pillow pants. He conquers them all. This dude, right here, he's a tournament champion. He's the artist formerly known as Thundercat. I like to refer to him as J.P. Dog E Dog. Ladies and gentlemen, J.P. Kitty Hi. Hi, J.P.
Yeehaw. Yeehaw.
Yee-hoo, hippity, hi, hey. Hey, you know what? Let's get right in to the action. We're just going to pop you right up because we got Steve Mui coming on first. He's going to just tell us all about some Lake Champlain beasts and his second-place finish at the Bassmaster Northern Opens. Hey, don't go anywhere. The Maniacy continues. Straycast, Outdoor Cartoon Television, coming back at you in a minute.
Take your fishing to the next level with StankX Bait Company's soft plastic baits. StankX is a family-owned and operated soft plastic company for Midwest anglers, and their goal is to make baits for anglers that are soft yet durable and continue to help you put more fish in the boat. StankX has a full selection of soft plastics to suit your style of fishing. Every bait is handmade by Travis Crossman, and he makes sure that every bait is flawless. Check out their next-level plastics that are airbrushed to perfection for ultra-realistic paint jobs and fish-catching action. Check out the full line of products at StankXBaitCompany.com. baitco.com. That's stank, the letter X, baitco.com. Take your fishing to the next level with Stank X Slayer Reel Tuning is Chicagoland's #1 reel tuning expert. Whether you need your reel tuned up, souped up, or basic maintenance, Ben Botcher, the Reel Slayer from SlayerReelTuning.com, has your reel needs covered. Ben is the official reel tuner of Stray Casts, and he can customize your reel to your exact specifications, like new ball bearings, drag washers, clean reels, and the latest and greatest handles. When it comes to reels, go to the best and contact Ben, the Reel Slayer, and get your reel tuned to perfection and back in no time. Go to the website, SlayerReelTuning.com. That's SlayerReelTuning.com.
A little less conversation.
Welcome back. Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I never knew I sounded just like Elvis.
No.
That happened right there. Hey, I'm Pat Renwick. You know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? Bobby Bergeron, do you know what time it is?
Steve Mui time.
Bobby Bergeron, cover model on Midwest Outdoors. Southside Small Mall Samurai guy. That's right. Pick up the latest edition of Midwest Outdoors where you can find El Chapito, Bobby Bergeron, with a king. Was that a king salmon?
That's a king salmon.
That is a king salmon. Hey,
All the pros are here.
all the pros are here. What up, what up? It is time right now for Hammer Time with my buddy, Ryan Popcorn Whitacre, and, ladies and gentlemen, Steve Mui.
Yeah.
Woo!
What's
Yeah.
up, Steve?
Yeah.
Steve Mui.
How you doing tonight, man?
In the midnight hour, they cried, Moi, Moi, Moi.
Just gonna pretend I didn't already ask you how it was going. So. Good. Thanks for coming in, man. I know the traffic's terrible coming down here, but thanks for making the trek and hauling that awesome trophy down, man. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Accolades.
Yeah,
Accolades.
that is awesome. And how much weight did that trophy take? How much weight?
How much wood could a woodchuck take
Earned.
if a Champlain woodchuck could chuck dem jigs?
There. I finally got a mic now.
Yeah,
Oh, there we
remember,
are.
remember when that mic was gonna be good?
They asked me if my mic was working earlier.
Yeah.
Well,
There's still. Yeah. Guys.
Hammer
Hey,
time with
hierarchy.
Popcorn Whitacre.
I'll try both of them. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's cool, dude.
Good,
You look
good.
like you're in a press conference.
right.
I love this right now.
All right.
You look official.
I feel official now.
All right,
Nice.
that mic's on now.
All right.
Now,
Got a
how
mic
much
on.
weight did you catch at Champlain?
I don't remember my total, but
That's okay.
I was a pound and 10 ounces short. First day I had 19.1. The second day I had 18.10, and the last day I caught the biggest bag of my week at 20 pounds 8 ounces.
Damn, dude.
So
So
add
So
that
like
up.
59 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like
That's
that.
that's
It
less
was-
than a peck and more than a barrel
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
and a cord.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, dude.
And is that that's your second time at Champlain, right?
That was my first time ever there.
Oh, first time.
Never
wow.
even seen the lake before.
That's
Looked at it
awesome.
on a map a little bit and just thought to myself, this lake's huge. So I got there and I really wanted to see everything, but that's nearly impossible on that lake. So I just kind of picked an area and broke it down, and I stumbled onto some good stuff. Practice was pretty crazy. I mean, the first spot I pulled up on in practice was my best spot of the tournament.
Do you find that that's often the case?
No.
No? See, for me, it's like every time. Every time I go to a lake, it's like I tell JP that all the time.
Oh, that's crazy.
I don't even know if I should go anywhere else. The first spot I go to is the best spot.
He's a prodigy, dude.
I just pulled up on a
Prodigy.
spot.
No, it's not
It's
bragging. It's bad because I never find anything good after that.
Ryan Whitacre
anyways.
never has a bad day, folks.
No, that's not true.
He's
It's
God's
like-
gift to bass fishing.
Had 3 weeks in a row of terrible fishing.
You told me all about Green Lake. It was
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good, huh?
No, it was awful. It was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, go on with your practice.
So yeah, a long story short about practice is the lake's huge, and there's a lot of water to break down, but that lake is awesome. There's fish everywhere. I stumbled onto a big group of smallmouth bass. I caught, 4 fish out of it in practice and left it alone and never went back, and pulled up there first day of the tournament and caught a fish on my first 3 casts, and the third one I caught, I remember, was a 4.5 pounder.
Nice.
And this is like there's still boats running by the lake, down the lake, that you can see from the launch, and it just like really settles you down and got me in the like, oh, this is a good area. I'm gonna stay here.
I can do this.
I can do this.
Yeah.
So I caught in the first hour. I culled up to about 17 pounds of smallmouth.
Wow.
And I just kind of ran around to a whole bunch of like little spots I found, little points, little rock piles, weed lines and stuff like that. And I never really caught like a bigger smallmouth, which is 3.5 or better. I had that 1 4-pounder. So I ended up going with like 2 hours left to an area where I caught some largemouth in practice. Actually, this one spot, it's a pretty cool story. I was telling Ryan about it earlier. It was long bank, and there was one stick. I'm not even joking. Like maybe like, I don't know, a broom handle size stick sticking out of the water, maybe like 6 inches. And in practice, I was going down this bank and I wasn't catching anything, and I saw this big dark shadow next to this little stick. And I threw my jig up there, and I swam it right up to this shadow, and I'm like, oh, it's probably a dogfish, and it eats it. I set the hook. It's like a 6-pounder.
Whoa!
Largemouth.
Wow.
In practice.
Cow.
So I'm like, probably shouldn't have done that.
He might have lived there.
Yeah. So I went back, that night, and I was like, dude, I caught a 6-pound largemouth off a stick. My friend's like, dude, that fish probably lived there. You'll never catch another fish there again. In the tournament, I'm like, I got like 17 pounds of smallmouth. I'm gonna go see if I can catch a largemouth. That same stick, day one, I pull up there. I flipped my jig up there, and it was a little bit overcast that day, and I couldn't really see. I threw my jig in there, and it probably fell like 2 inches, and boom.
Oh.
I saw the hook. It was like a 4.5, 5-pound largemouth.
Isolated objects, bro.
Yeah.
Isolated objects. Textbook stuff.
They hold
right
on
there.
to sticks sometimes.
I got that
yeah.
stick, and then I just kind of ran around a little. I caught another, close to a 4.5-pound largemouth, and I called up to like 19-1 or something. So, I didn't really know what to expect out of the first day. I thought, oh, cool, I got a good smallmouth spot. I caught a couple of what I thought were lucky largemouth at the time, which it turns out they weren't. I found an area that had good largemouth living there. So day 2, I did the same thing. I went to the smallmouth spot, and I caught like 16 pounds in the first like hour and a half.
Dude.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. Maybe go catch a couple big largemouth. It's like 11 o'clock. I went over, and I got to, so day 2 was flat, calm, sunny. I'm like, oh, man, the smallmouth guys are going to smash them today, because that's what you want up there, because big water, you got to get over them, deep water, smallmouth. And I was like, I don't know if these largemouth are going to bite. So I went in the area where I caught the big one, and I'm like fishing around. I'm like, I'm going to go buy that stick. I caught a 5.5 off that stick on day 2.
That stick is amazing.
It is. Isn't it?
It's the magic stick.
It's the magic wand.
Yeah.
It's a magic stick.
Yeah, I love it.
I was telling all my friends I was staying with at the motel about it. They're like, dude, where's that stick? I'm like, it's in the lake.
Yeah,
Target
right?
sticks
Come on.
for 20-pound bags.
Yeah. So I fished around, and I had 18-something the second day, and I'm like, maybe I can do this, because I fell from 7th after day 1 to 9th on day 2. So I'm like, I'm just going to go out. And the weather changed drastically on the final day. Like, it was 75 and sunny every day, all through practice, warm. The last day, the high was 55, and it downpoured.
Ooh.
Like, from 11 p.m. the night before till the tournament, and then till, like, I don't know, noon.
Couldn't even see the stick.
Couldn't even see the stick. But I went to my smallmouth area, and this is kind of funny, but I fished for like 10 minutes without a bite, and I started freaking out. Because each day, it was like the first 2 casts, I'd catch a fish.
Clocking them.
So I kind of was like, I just need to settle down. This is like rain blowing in my face and stuff.
Started going to
and
the dark side, huh?
yeah. So I ended up pulling off the spot a little bit. And this is what's weird to me, is the smallmouth went deeper that day for whatever reason. I don't know.
They knew you were
I
coming.
went deeper with the rain.
Yeah.
Wow.
You'd think overcast, cloudy,
Yeah.
wind, rain, they'd be up on top of this like little, shallow area I was fishing, but they were way off of it. And I had been catching them in 13 to 16 prior, and then the final day I caught them in 19 to 21.
Wow.
And I had to get right on top of them and mark them and drop straight down right on them. I mean, once you got a bait in front of them, they ate that thing.
With the jig?
No, I drop shotted for the smallmouth.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I use this missile fuse. It's like a little little crawl.
I see
The
that.
drop crawl
the
thing.
drop crawl.
Yeah, basically. And for whatever reason, I started wacky rigging it, and they seem to eat it a lot better. So that's what I was doing for the smallmouth out on a drop shot. But that final day, it was like weird. You had to get it right on top of them and drop it right in their face. But they would crush it, as soon as you got in front of them. But
Hey, sorry, go ahead. No, I was just gonna say when you went out there to break down the lake, when you were saying it's a huge lake, you're not gonna be able to see the whole thing.
Right.
Were you going to look for something specific, like something that you like to fish, or were you just gonna go look around and see if you saw something that looked good? Or were you looking to fish your strength?
Yeah,
or just
I
looking to
actually
stumble
fish.
across something?
I mean, anyone that fishes around here a lot knows like Lake Geneva, Lake Delavan, weed lines, stuff like that we're used to. And I found similar stuff like that in Champlain, but I've also been to Oneida a lot, which is very similar to Champlain, but there's more fish in Champlain. So I just took those two, types of fishing and put them together. What I like to do is, find weed edges, drop-offs and stuff, and groups of fish. And I don't know, it worked out for me. And then that whole largemouth deal was kind of random, but I just kind
It
of
worked.
Stick.
yeah, the stick. And then what I found out that area was off of that stick was a big weed flat, and there was like holes in these weeds, and there was big boulders. So
Oh,
I
wow.
think, and then I found some like trolling around through there. I would see big bluegills, so I think they're on like a bluegill thing,
Yeah,
and that's why they never left.
that's
And
why they ate that jig.
Yeah, I caught the largemouth all on this dem jigs flipping swim jig. It's a
Let's
green
show off that
pumpkin.
jig.
I don't know if you can see
Can
it.
somebody
Look,
take
man.
it up to the camera?
It's
Look, this thing is beat up right there.
It is.
actually funny
Beat
thing,
up.
It's
They can't see that, but
It's a half ounce. It's a
See.
green pumpkin with some purple and a baby D-bomb on there. And I used this one jig for all of practice and all of the tournament, and I never retied it once. Just
wow.
50-pound braid, 7-foot heavy rod.
Do you have to sharpen the hook at all?
No, I didn't. It's still sharp.
He's manhandling him.
I had to
dude.
bend it back a little bit a couple times, but
Yeah.
That's
that'll
awesome,
happen.
and that's a hell of a jig, by the way.
it's an amazing jig.
Yeah.
John did a really good
Good
job.
job,
with the
John
jig.
DeMay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, crankbait through practice is just covered water, catch a couple fish here and there, and that's where I found some of the spots. But drop shot did most of the work and the jig.
So
So-
what's what does this change for you, having a good finish like that, other than putting some money in your pocket?
I definitely put some money. I actually paid off one of my cars with some of the money. So it
Nice.
feels
You're
good.
responsible bass fishing.
Yeah. Yeah, I put some money away. I'm hoping to do 2 divisions of opens next year. I've
Okay.
only been doing the Northerns. I came close last year to the Elite Series. I came close to a victory this year. And next year I'm going to try and do the Southerns and the Northerns because it's like spaced apart enough that, I won't kill myself.
Right.
But I really want to get that Elite invite. I was so close last year. And then I kind of bombed the first 2 tournaments this year. So it kind of, confidence is very, very fragile in fishing. And I was at a point this year where I didn't know, had I gotten worse or... You mean you fished the James River? Have you ever been there?
No.
No.
Yeah, don't go there unless you have to. But I mean, after that tournament, my confidence was shot.
That's where you caught the giant catfish
I caught some catfish.
on the dem jig.
Yeah.
I remember
I
the
did.
story last
Yeah,
time you were here.
and I also caught a 9-pound largemouth there once too. but-
Wow.
Is this your best finish?
Yeah, this for an open level event, this is my best finish.
But you've done well. You've been close to
yeah,
getting that elite berth.
Last year I was pretty close. I mean, it was
You should
2
fish
points
both,
away.
like Seth Fighter said, like that might prepare you for the elites.
I actually think
Go catch them places that don't have grass.
Right,
Too,
right.
'cause you'll
And-
have to fish that stuff.
Get used to that yeehaw fishing.
Yeah. I've been to Grand Lake. There's no grass in that lake at all. It's kind of weird, but there's a
Hey,
lot
how
of
do you
fishing there.
qualify for the elites in the opens? What's the prerequisite?
So for the elites in the open, they only take the top 5 in points each year.
Gotcha. Okay.
And last year I finished 6th.
Oh,
So
jeez.
it
And
kinda sucked.
nobody dropped out.
No one dropped out.
Everybody went.
Everybody went.
Wow.
I was talking to a couple people, and they're like, I think that's the first time ever that all 5
Yeah.
accepted.
Because what
You know,
Seth Fighter,
dropping
we had
out.
him on last week, and he said he got like eighth or 7th, and there was guys that dropped out, and he was
Yeah.
able to get in.
Yeah, but
And
I
he got 6th. Man,
I really believe that it's good that I didn't make it last year because
Or the dudes
Th-
that are already in
this
the elite.
this struggle I
Yeah.
had this year I think is going to prepare me if and when I do make the elites, because finishing back to back 130, 140 or whatever, it really, really like it hits you pretty hard, and you really got to bounce back. You got to clear your mind and fish completely different. There's guys, they'll lose one fish. I've seen it. Fishing local stuff.
Yeah.
Guys catch one fish, they're all right. If they lose one fish, I've seen guys spiral out of control. Like, they're done for the day from losing one fish.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah. We call that going to the dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine, putting $3,000 in entry fees and another $3,000 in expenses into your season to get $0 back and 0 points, essentially.
That's a crusher.
Right.
And then basically you have one tournament left to try and make the Classic, and it's 1,100 miles away from home, and you don't really want to go, and you're by yourself.
Yeah.
That's where you gotta be.
So you think this year kind of thickened your skin a little bit?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
you know how you've proven to yourself that you can kind of
Yeah.
roll with the punches and bounce back.
I mean, yeah, I got a little lucky, but
Dude, you caught it.
everyone's got to get a little.
Yeah,
lucky.
Everybody's
Yeah.
got to have a little magic stick in their life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I should have brought that home with me.
You
I left it
shoulda.
there.
Man, yeah, you should have pulled that thing out of the bottom and taken it.
I love my
Yeah.
magic stick.
Hey, put it
Yeah.
in Geneva.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. I had a lot of friends calling me, and I was sitting on stage in the hot seat. I jumped from 9th to 2nd, so I was on stage for essentially the whole weigh-in because they go reverse order, and I could not. My phone was in my pocket, just going off. My friends, hey, do something stupid to the camera. I'm like, dude, I'm freaking out here, man.
Did you know? Did you have any idea?
No, that's what's
what he
funny is I didn't. I always undervalue how big my fish are,
Right.
especially smallmouth, because you catch a 4-pound smallmouth and you look at it, sometimes you're like, oh, that's like a 3-pounder. Or you catch like a 5-pounder and you're like, I don't know how big this thing is. So I
Yeah,
had 3
it's over
smallmouth.
4. Yeah.
I had 3 smallmouth and 2 pretty big largemouth, and I'm standing in line, and Adrian comes up to me. He's like, dude, you got 20 pounds. I'm like, do I? I don't even know. So I got a 20 pounds, 8 ounces or whatever, and I was like, oh, whatever, I'm 9th. One of these guys will knock me off. And it was like 15 pound, 15 pound, 15 pound.
Oh.
I was just like,
You're going crazy.
yeah, I'm just like, oh, that guy, every time someone walks across the stage, I'm at $1,500. I'm just like, cool. And then it's just like, I didn't really think about, maybe I could win this until there was like 2 people. I like looked over at the tank. I'm like, there's only 2 people left. And one of them's a co-angler. I'm like, oh, dang, there's only one guy left. So, and then he needed like 17 something. And he held up his bag. I was like, it's going to be close. But he had like 18.
Yikes.
So.
Man.
It's
But you're
a
right
crazy
there.
feeling, right?
Damn.
Yeah.
I would have loved for this local boy right here to make the Classic.
He's going to do it next year.
Fish in the. Of course he will. Of course.
He's going to do it next year.
Yeah.
I got
Twice.
You got to knock him out.
Yeah.
You get lucky, Juju, from coming on straight cast.
It's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
That is
No,
true.
for real. I mean, you came on and you got second.
Yeah.
Yes, that happens.
That's where
the
that
magic
came from.
of this.
That's the magic.
So you're
Straight cast
welcome.
magic.
Yes.
But no, hey man, we're out of time. But I just want to
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming in, and again, and we want to have you back again when you win the next tournament. You
Yeah,
fish out there.
the
next year.
winning trophy is
The
a
li-
little,
it's
the winning
a
trophy is a
little
little
bit
bit
bigger.
bigger.
Yeah.
Hold it up over your head.
Yeah.
It's really heavy.
But anyone you want to shout out to or thank before?
Yeah, I mean,
before
I
we
just
move on
want to
here?
thank, my parents, obviously, for helping me with everything. All my friends that back home, have been so supportive. And, John does a heck of a job with his jig, and I've caught a lot of fish on it since, he started making those. So I really appreciate John for hooking me up with the jigs. And, Missile's done a lot for me, too. And Matzul, they're hooking me up. I caught some fish in practice on their square bill, and we got some cool stuff coming out. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, I think it looks good. I want to try it out.
Yep.
That means
Awesome.
give Ryan some baits.
Yeah.
That's how
I'll
these
give you some
TV
baits,
stars
Ryan.
do it.
Yeah, and then make sure they come to me first so these guys don't pilfer all the good ones.
Once I get my jigs, Ryan.
Phil Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get some jigs.
Hey, thank you
Give me
so
some Phil
much,
Hunts.
dude.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
It was
you're
fun.
welcome anytime. You
Oh,
know
yeah.
that. We love the local boys. Hey,
Yeah.
Straight
kick
Cast,
Anytime.
kick down the door one day.
Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked, because when we get back, Shaw Grigsby on the Bass Buzz. See you in a minute.
How did you change your body? I mean, like just really working out?
Mm-hmm.
Could you
I
take...
did martial arts a lot and full contact karate and weights.
Could anybody do that? Could you take these two here?
Come on, say what you really think.
Could you change anybody's body with enough time? Seriously.
Sure, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It just takes determination, hard work, and good instructor.
The swim jig technique is one of the most successful ways to put fish in the boat. Time in and time out, Brovani Bait swim jigs are just the right tool for the job. Beaming with quality, the Brovani swim jigs come in a myriad of colors, feature the best premium hooks and solid trailer keepers to give you, the serious bass angler, the confidence you need to accomplish your goal of putting more fish in the boat. So go to BrovaniBaits.com and start climbing the ladder to swim jig success. I wish there was a jig that I could flip, swim, and drag with.
You need dem jigs.
Yeah, I do need them jigs.
Not them jigs, dem jigs.
Oh!
Custom hooks, hand-tied living rubber skirts, and an indestructible chip-proof head. Available in both football and the flip swim style. Jigs built out of a necessity for the serious fisherman. Like Them Jigs on Facebook or order online at demjigs.com. That's DEM jigs.com. Welcome back. Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick. It's time for a little Bass Buzz action. We, you know who we have on the show today? One of my faves. And this guy, he's been at this like 30-something years. A 63 top 10 finishes, 9 wins, $2 zillion in earnings, Bassmaster Elite Series superstar, and MLF extraordinaire angler. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring to you Shaw Grigsby. Yeah. Yeah, Shaw. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great.
Dude, it's good to see you. And you know what? My arm is still healing from that time we had dinner together, and you were slapping me in the arm every 5 minutes. It's still, I have a permanent bruise there.
Well, we were having fun, man. That was a neat little bar deal or whatever we were at.
Yeah, it was Chicago. You know, and that's Chicago pizza. You got to love that stuff, man. You're home, Shaw. You are.
Yes.
You
well,
are,
actually, I'm at my son's house. So they're all here. I got my whole family and grandson. Hey, wait, there's grandson.
Hey, what's up, kids?
He's my ace fishing man. You know.
Oh, nice.
But my internet at my house stinks, so you wouldn't have had any service, and it would have gone in and out. So I just come over to his house.
Well, we appreciate you making the little trip so you could hang out with us knuckleheads tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, that's a cool deal. So, I mean, you're home. When I meant by home is you are done with the Elite Series now. Is that, you know, you love fishing. That's why you do it. It's the way you make your living. But is it kind of a relief to be home, Shaw?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, right now, you know, you'd think it's going to be off season, but it really isn't. I mean, I leave Friday. We do Major League Fishing, which you mentioned. So we'll be filming that, and we're taking a bunch of guys that won the sweepstakes. So we're going to have a great time, assuming that this hurricane doesn't blast us. So right now we've been kind of, you know, taking care of things around the house, filling up all the trucks and cars, and got gas cans, and we got generators, and we got everything ready. In case something happens. We're hoping it skirts us. We've been through a lot of hurricanes in Florida, sure, and none of them have done any real damage. I mean, one day we lost power, or one storm we lost power for like 6 days. So I've got a generator now that kicks on automatically. I'm good to go.
I lived there for Andrew, and that was a beast. Hurricane Andrew.
Real beast.
Yeah, I lived in Florida back then. But, you know, the good thing you have going for you, Shaw, is that you can just call up Boyd Duckett or Gary Klein and get yourself a bunch of that Sasquatch beef jerky, because it never goes bad. So you guys, your family will never go hungry. Just
Trust me, I got a bunch of Jack Links in my closet right now. I will not go hungry.
There it is right there. Hey, you know, Shaw, we're here on this Straycast Bass Buzz show to educate and entertain your fans, our viewers. Why don't you tell us a little something about Shaw Grigsby that not a lot of people know? Give us a little, whether it's dirt or whether it's good, whatever. Come on, let's fish it out, so to say.
The first thing is I'm really passionate about fishing, love fishing, but I'm passionate about the outdoors. So I love hunting, and I get out there. I mean, I'm a bow hunter. Now I shoot a lot of guns, so I shoot pistols and got SIGs and Glocks and you name it. But the bottom line is I love everything there is about the outdoors. I mean, being inside, with a computer is not my idea of a great day. My idea of a great day is getting out there and getting mosquito bit and getting chiggers on you but having experiences that you can only have in the outdoors. That's what I love doing.
Sure. I'm with you 100%. Do you ever go up to Georgia and go gin singing? You ever done that yet?
No. You know what I have done? Now, this is something that I absolutely love mushrooming, wild mushrooms.
Oh, yeah.
Right now we have chanterelles in the yard. I found 2 old man of the woods. I don't know if you know what those are really cool looking mushrooms. And it looks like they got spikes all over them, but they're very tasty. I've got a tree that just loaded up with chicken of the woods. And I'm like, I really want to go harvest them, but I don't have any time. We've been packing, getting everything. This is cool. My son gets married in like 2 weeks.
Awesome.
And
congratulations.
So I went on a bachelor party. Now guys, how many of y'all are married there? Nobody's raising their hand.
Nobody wants to marry us. Are you kidding me? We're still playing the field, dude.
Have you been to a bachelor party?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So we know what bachelor parties are, right? So you know what my son wanted for his bachelor party?
No.
This is go to Venice, Louisiana, and I'm going to turn this down a little. Wait a minute. Venice, Louisiana. Go tuna fishing.
Oh wow.
And then go early teal hunting. So we got to tuna fish, early teal. We whomped them. He hooked a marlin that while we were tuna fishing, must have been 700-800 pounds. It was awesome. So we had an incredible bachelor party. I think everybody said this is what a bachelor party is supposed to be, because you usually think it's going to be wild women and booze. Oh no, it was tuna and ducks.
Nice. Hey, that's the outdoorsman's dream right there, right?
That's it. I said, that's perfect.
And it kept you out of trouble too, Shaw.
I tried really hard to get in trouble.
That was the deal right there. Hey, we get to watch you a lot on the water. Whether it's on the Bassmasters or whether it's on MLF. And I remember an episode not too long ago. It was the one that Bobby Lane won on the MLF. And everybody was like, it's going to be Shaw or it's going to be Bobby Lane because you're the Florida boys. You're the Florida boys. But we watched you miss a couple key fish. And you kind of got pissed off a little bit. But what I admire about you is you did keep your composure. How do you do that? How the hell, when you're fishing in that competitive level, do you keep your composure like that? How do you do it?
The bottom line is, and I learned early on in my career that you could throw rods, break them in half, and it doesn't change anything. You're still where you're at. And so the best thing you can do is concentrate and figure out, did I do something wrong? And on those situations, I didn't feel I did.
You did not. I was watching. You did not do anything wrong. You leaned into them. You put the pressure on them. They just didn't stay buttoned, man.
And there's things that I've done like that where you could change the weight. So go to smaller weight and help, but I didn't do that. So I probably should have adjusted a little bit.
Hey, going to the weights. I hear you talk about quite often about how you don't peg your weight unless it's absolutely necessary. I can't stand that. I always have to peg it. I don't know if it's a confidence thing or what it is, but why do you do that? What's the reasoning?
Well, back in the old days, I used to room with a guy named Larry Lazone, who was an extremely good worm fisherman, and that was what he did. He worm fished. And he kept telling me he would catch more fish without his weight pegged. I said, but it's so hard to get it through bushes and get it down in through the junk and stuff because, the weight will hang up and the bait will be sitting there and the weight. So anyway, well, then I watched Denny Brower win the Classic.
Yeah, on the tube.
At High Rock, and I was doing the color commentating, and so we went up to him when he knew he'd won the Classic. We pull up to him, and we ask him all kinds of questions, like how on earth would you figure out fishing 1 foot of water in the heat of the summertime? I mean, the hottest water you could find. He's fishing shallow as shallow can be. I asked him all the questions that I thought you could ask, and I turned to the guy that's owned the boat, because we just borrow his boat, and he's driving us around. And I said, you have any questions you'd ask him? He goes, yeah, how come he's not pegging his weight? Because you could see him pitch into a tree and pitch in, and it would wrap and tangle and fall and do this and that. Finally, he'd get it in, dude, he'd catch one. And when I asked him that question, I said, how come you're not pegging your weight? Denny gave me this evil look like, you're not supposed to ask that question. And this was his answer. Larry Nixon told me I'd catch more fish if I didn't peg it.
Wow.
Larry Nixon is the king of soft plastics.
No doubt. When it comes from the general, you better listen.
Yeah, and same with Larry Lazone, Larry Nixon, Denny Brower. I said, so there are situations to peg, but I messed up at that tournament we had in Philadelphia 2 years ago, and it was just terrible because the first day I lost fish after fish, and I realized I'd pegged my weight because I'd had it pegged for some cover situation, and as soon as I unpegged it, I caught like every fish. It's crazy.
Boom.
So
that's what you got to do.
Just instantly.
Do you do that?
I made the adjustment and just rocketed on through the deal.
What about pitching mats when you're flipping mats? Are you still on?
I still don't. And so like when I'm flipping those heavy weights, I actually use that weight as a fulcrum. So I let the weight drop through the mat, and then the bait may hang up on top, but you pop your rod and that weight's holding your line, it pulls the bait through. Boom, then they go through together.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I might need to force myself to try. I think
it's a little more aggravating, but when it comes down to it, when the fish eats the bait, he's got the bait in his mouth. He doesn't have the weight in his mouth, and that means you set the hook and you don't have to pull that big weight out of his mouth. You get a better hookup.
True. That sounds perfectly logical right there. And plus, if Larry Nixon says it, I'm doing it. Nothing against you, Shaw, but if Larry's...
Brower, the king of all kings, and Nixon, yeah.
Hey, I've heard this expression before that a bass is a bass is a bass. And I lived in Florida for about 10 years. I lived over in Raton, mouth of the Rat over there, and fished quite a few bodies of water out that way in Lake Okeechobee. And then I moved back here in 2000, and I noticed a huge difference between the Florida bass and the northern strain bass. Now, I know a bass is a bass is a bass, but you tell me your views on the difference of these fish.
Well, I have to agree with you. I think Florida strain bass they're different, meaning they're a little harder to catch. They are very temperamental in the sense of cold weather and stuff. But when you look at it, overall, you're going to use the same baits. This is cool. So we show up at Major League Fishing and to film the first one for next season. And while we're there, I run into Ish Monroe, and Ish goes, man, I got this Major League Fishing deal down.
Whoa.
What do you mean? He goes, all you got to do is throw a KVD jerkbait.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He said, well, you're up north. We fish La Crosse, Wisconsin, and Kevin beat us senseless with a KVD jerkbait. And then he goes down to Florida, and he whacks him on a KVD jerkbait. He just goes, all you got to do is throw a KVD jerkbait. So that's where the bass is a bass. Just throw a jerkbait, you're good.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you got to do. That's the deal right there. So, so I guess a bass is a bass is a bass. But those Florida strain bass, I believe, so much. They're finicky beasts.
They are. They really are. And that's aggravating at times, especially if you have a cold front or something come in. You go, oh, my gosh, of all things is to have that now. And then you just got to slow down. And there's times when you pitch it in the mat, and you're flipping, and you just got to let it sit, and then you just pump it and pump it. I had one tournament where it was a cold front, and when I would pull it out of the mat, my partner would pitch in and catch one. And after two fish, I realized I'm not pulling it out of the mat. or if I do, I'm pitching it into the same stinking hole again. And I ended up doing good. I think I finished second or third or something. But it was one of those deals where I had to learn that. And they're just the way they are. They're just real finicky.
Finicky fish. Hey, Shaw, we like to play games. We like to play games here on the Bass Buzz Straight Cast. Okay. That's why it's called outdoor cartoon television. We're a bunch of jokers right here. Okay? So we're going to play a little game, if it's okay with you, and it's called Bassin Roulette. And we play it every week here with you bass fishing pros. We had a great time with Aaron Martins last week. He didn't know what the hell was going on.
Now, is this the Bass Aaron Martins?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know him.
Because there's another Aaron Martin. But anyway, go ahead.
All right, so Bassin Roulette. I'm going to give you six little statements, 6 little words, 6 little questions, okay? And one of them is a loaded question. 6 chambers, 1 loaded, okay? Now, all you do is when I say it, you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. Boom, real quick, on to the next one.
I am not real quick, but we'll try.
You have to be. That what makes you a good bass fisherman is it being a decision maker and quick on your feet on the water, Shaw.
It's slower than mud, buddy. Slower than mud.
All right, let's play a little Bassin Roulette. Are you ready?
I'll try.
Okay, perfect spinning rod.
Perfect spinning rod. The Shaw Grigsby, 7-foot, medium action. It's medium heavy. It's got a beautiful, beautiful parabolic bend. Perfect spinning rod.
There it is, right there. That's that quantum one. It's kind of like a popping rod, right?
Uh-oh.
That's the one. Tarpon.
Music.
Tarpon.
Do what?
Tarpon.
Oh my gosh, I love them. My favorite fish to catch on a fly. Love tarpon fishing.
Tarpon, there it is. Miley Cyrus.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can tell you what, I have a lot more appreciation after watching The Voice. I love that show. Y'all watch The Voice?
I do. I like it, actually, yeah.
It's incredible. Dude, you need to watch. I'm telling you.
I'm thinking about trying out, actually.
Shaw, we're not married.
Hey, yeah. I like it. But anyway, it's so inspiring to see people that, really need something and have such great talent and then come in there and it's just an awesome show. Anyway, go ahead. Okay. So, yes, I respect her greatly. Dancing Eel.
Nothing to do with Miley Cyrus. Dancing Eel.
That is a bill dance. We'll refrain.
Okay, here we go. Long John Silver's. Long John Silver's.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Fried fish. Got to put the malt vinegar on it, man.
I agree. It's a guilty pleasure. You feel like shit after you eat it, but it's worth it, Shaw.
That's exactly, but man, it is good.
It is good stuff. Okay. And
hey, do you eat the little crumbles?
Oh, I get an extra side of crumbs too.
Isn't that awesome?
Oh yeah. They have a sweet Thai sauce too. You got to try that sometimes. Mix it up with the crumbs.
Man, do the malt.
Well, I do both.
Okay.
Yep, that's the deal. Okay, Flanders.
Flanders?
We stumped Shaw Grigsby right there.
Spell it. Is that with an F or a P?
That's with an F. Flanders.
Flanders.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
But there it is. That was the loaded question right there. Hey, Shaw, we are right here up against the break. We're going to go to a commercial and come back and have some more fun. What do you say?
I hope you're going to tell me what the heck Flanders is.
Flanders is what Mark Zona calls you all the time on the Bassmasters. You never heard him say, you must not watch the shows back. I'm telling Jerry McInnes on you. Ask your grandson. Hey, hey, Shaw. We'll be right back. More Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television, the Bass Buzz with Shaw Grigsby when we return. PH Custom Lures by Phil Hunter quickly becoming the most sought-after custom balsa baits in the industry, from the Little Hunter to the Squeaky P. These baits are pure quality, handcrafted, hand-carved, and hand-painted. But most importantly, they flat-out catch fish. PH Custom Lures has a bait for any situation in a magnitude of colors. Check out the Old School, Straighter, and PH Custom series at phcustomlures.com. That's phcustomlures.com. South Tallahassee. That's in Florida. That's
I know that.
That's where Shaw Grigsby's from. Welcome back to the Bass Buzz. I'm Pat Renwick. This right over here is Ryan Popcorn Whitacre Shaw Grigsby. That's
Ryan.
Hi, Shaw Grigsby.
That's Ryan Popcorn Whitacre. This is JP Kitty, not JT Kenny, but JP Kitty.
What up, Shaw?
I got it.
Right over there, and that's this is the Southside Smallmouth Samurai. All the way over here, Bobby Bergeron, and he's the smallmouth lord of the South Side of Lake Michigan. That's what's going on there. Hey, Shaw, I just want to say again, thanks, dude, for coming. Making a little pilgrimage over to your kid's house and coming on this show right here, because we love us some Shaw Grigsby. You are known as a sight fisherman. Okay, you're known as a sight fisherman. That is a special skill. That is the skill of a patient man. That is the skill of a warrior, of a patient, silent stalker, like a panther. Okay, you're kind of like Shaw the Panther Grigsby on the water. I am way too antsy to sight fish. I can't do it. I got a chunk and whine or I got to flip. And how the hell do you sight fish all the time? How do you do that?
You just go up north, man, because when you got those smallmouth on bed, if you hit within 10 feet of them, they race off and fight it.
Yeah, stupid, aren't they? Those brown fish with red eyes get wild.
Yeah, but in Florida, it's definitely slow, methodical. There's a lot of little things that you do to kind of, help yourself catch them. But really, the big thing is to stay away from them where they don't see you, and maybe you can just barely see them. Like I wear glasses because I'm only, 12 inches, 13 inches away from the screen or whatever it is, 18. So close in, I've got to have readers, but my distance vision's still good. It's still 2010, maybe a little better than that, or 2015. So it's pretty good. It used to be 2010, 25. Now it's 2010 or 2015 and 2020. So my distance vision's still okay. And you got to be able to see them. But if you can stay away where you could just barely see them, you have a much better chance. I spot them all ahead of time. I lock them in on my Lowrance electronics. I try to remember where they are. Then when I get there, I want to make that cast before I ever get close to them. I mean, I want to make that cast knowing, okay, he's right there to the left of that reed. I make that long cast, lay a bait in there like an ocho or something, and just let it settle out. A lot of times you'll catch that female first cast.
And what's the biggest mistake that you see a lot of people making sight fishing? Would that be that they get up too close on them?
Sometimes, but a lot of times it's too quick. You're pitching, working. I know that if I can leave that bait in there and aggravate that fish, or aggravate him before it even gets to him, I'm ahead of the game. So I just want to cut the time down and do the right moves and watch the fish. I'm always constantly trying to just see the fish. If I can't see the fish, if I'm staying way back, then I'm just going to work it extremely slow. The slower the better.
Slower the better, like the Panther. Slow and methodical.
Stalking.
Shaw the Panther Grigsby. Searching for the chicken of the woods.
Hey, Shaw. I want to talk about sight fishing when they're not spawning. Do you get into that?
I love
like
that.
summertime.
Because people don't think about that. I almost won a B.A.S.S tournament on Bugs Island, and it was the fall of the year, and David Fritz had just won the Classic, and then he turns around and either placed high or won the next one, or Zell did it real good. But anyway, I was on so many fish, sight fishing them in September on Bugs Island. Clear water, they were running in these big schools. I call them wolf packs. They were just hunting bait. And you'd run into them, and you just made a cast out in front of them with a tube, and they were like piranha. They go over there and eat them. Well, the tournament came around, and it was cloudy, windy, overcast. You couldn't see anything. And so I ended up not doing very good. I couldn't adapt at that point to those conditions. But yeah, it's extremely technical when you do it. When they're not on beds. When you're on beds, they're forced to be right there. Right. When you've got a fish and you spot them, and that's when you mentioned tarpon. Oh my gosh, this is the deal. You see this fish and he's swimming, and so you want to make this cast. You don't want them to see you. You got to make that cast before they ever know you're there. But you don't want to hit them on the head. You want to present it 6 feet, 5 feet, out in front of them, to where something just happens. They go, oh my gosh, there's something. And I'll tell you, I had one at Okeechobee. You like that? So I was in Cochran's Pass, and I had a pretty big fish, like a 7-pounder. And she's cruising out. She'd finished spawning. She's cruising out. She's leaving, going out into the bay. And so I'm following her, and I make a cast out in front of her, and I let it spiral down. Had a tube. She just passed right over. And I ran around in front of her again, trolling motored out. I made another cast. I got it way out in front of it. I let it sink down. I waited till she come over, and I just jiggled it, shook it to where it looked like it was alive on the bottom. She swam over. I'm scratching my head because those two things usually catch them. That's like the perfect deal is get it way out in front of them, let it lay on the bottom. She's swimming up, you jiggle it, she spots it, boom, they eat it. And that's perfect. That's textbook. So, well, I'd gone through everything I knew, and I'm like, oh my gosh, well, I got to try again. I threw out, I went around her again. Here she's cruising, comes out of a clump of hydrilla. She's hitting open water. I fire out there. My tube sinks down. All of a sudden, I feel dink, and I'm still seeing her. She's not anywhere around. I got a bluegill. He ate my bait, and I'm like, no. And I'm pulling it, and the bluegill spits it out. She just goes and eats it. And I'm like, I could have French kissed the bluegill, man. Man, I'd have Jimmy Houston that bluegill.
Nice.
Anyway, but I did catch her, and but it took a bluegill where she got in competition to do it. So if you listen to that story, it's everything that I do when they're not spawning. You get out in front of them, let them see it spawning down, falling down like a little shad or a little bait or little crawfish. If that doesn't work, then you get it way out in front of them and just let it sit till they get close enough, and then you jiggle it, and they think it's alive. Those two things really work almost every time.
So let me throw you this scenario that happened to me last weekend. If they're not cruising and you can't get out in front of them, we're on a lake called Big Green Lake in Wisconsin, really clear water, and we're in the fall here.
He's still hurting from this tournament, Shaw. That's
it's driving
what's
me
going
crazy.
He's psychologically scarred.
They're I found about 10 to 15 docks that each one of these docks would have 5 to 10 fish over 3 pounds, from 3 to 6, 7 pounds underneath it. And you could be as far away as you could and throw anything in there, Senko, tube, whatever, and they just wouldn't bite. They would just they're just swimming around like the tank at Bass Pro Shop under that dock, swimming in
I've
circles.
seen that a few times.
What would you do in that situation?
Most of the time, I wacky ocho, and I can go to the small 4-inch ocho, go down to 6. You may even go to 5. We have the new finesse. Seagar has that new finesse fluorocarbon, really light, precise stuff. You skip it up under a dock and let it sit. A lot of times you want to dead stick it, so you throw it out there, let it sink down. Don't do a thing. Just let it sit there. They're swimming around, and all of a sudden you just shake it to where it quivers. You don't want it to jump or do something. Just let it quiver, and one looks, and then he goes down. But you get one to look, and they get in competition. It's just like they're like 2-year-old kids or 3-year-old kids. You got a shopping cart. You're going down the shopping, down a grocery store, and one of them says, "Man, I want a piece of gum." Well, if you got 2 kids, that second one doesn't matter if he wanted a piece of gum or not. Definitely wants a piece of gum.
Yeah.
That's what a bass is. They're getting competition. Once one of them looks at it, they both got to have it.
Just like the Long John Silver's crumbs. That's
gotta have them.
That's the deal right there. Shaw, you are the host of One More Cast. Yeah.
Was.
How? Oh, did you say was?
Yeah, was.
Oh, I did not know. This is news to me.
I retired just a few weeks ago. Well, back at ICAST.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Are you okay with this?
20 years.
20 years, man. Wow.
I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Give me just a second. Come here. Give a big hug. My grandson's got to go to school tomorrow, so he's got to go to sleep.
Take it easy, Shaw's grandson.
That's Bryce.
Hey, Bryce. He's a TV star now.
Yeah, he is definitely a heck of a good fisherman.
Awesome.
And a hunter, too. He likes it. But anyway, where were we?
One More Cast, retirement.
Cash, yeah. I had an opportunity to do it and run with it, and I I said, I don't want more. I've got a grandson. He's 9. I have my daughter is pregnant, so we're going to have a granddaughter being born in February.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And literally, even without one more cast, I have so little time. It's just amazing. So I want to have some time to spend with them, to enjoy things. I mean, we've got to go fishing all around. We've got to go hunting. I just want to spend some family time. And who knows, I may get back in it next year or 2 years down the road. I don't know, because it's definitely a passion of mine. I love fishing. I love doing television. But right now, I'm taking a break.
Yeah, dude, and it goes right back to that first thing we talked about, the relief of being home. You're home.
I'm definitely home, and it's nice.
But congratulations on such an amazing series too. I mean, that was, and I'm gonna be quite frank with you. I can't watch too many fishing shows because they drive me nuts. But yours was a good one.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and very honestly, I'm the same way.
I'm gonna tell you, I like MLF. I like the Bassmasters. I like one more cast, a little Jimmy Houston and some Zona. Yeah. But I don't know if I excluded anybody. Sorry. Please still come on our show. I didn't mean to offend anybody right there.
There are some shows that are a little hard to watch, but I can tell you I had a great time. And the crew I had, I mean, they won so many awards, National Geographic. They do all of it. They were wonderful, and they knew how to make a show go so quick. So when you started, all of a sudden it would be over, and you go, wait a minute, it just started. And that's what I wanted with the show, not only a real show, so it wasn't, like everybody's catching 7-pounders. I wanted something where you go out there and only catch 1-pounders, because that's what you do sometimes. And sometimes you have that dock situation, you don't even catch any.
That's what makes it tough. Yes. I mean, no doubt, it's what makes it tough. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about history, some Grigsby history. Okay, now this is you're probably thinking that I'm going to go back into the Grigsby songbook here and take you from the beginning of your career, but I don't know if you're aware of this, that there's a lot of famous Grigsbys in history. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
did you know that one of my relatives actually was the one that nominated Abraham Lincoln to be president?
I do, and that would probably be Aaron.
Perfect.
You see what I'm saying?
I didn't know his name, but I knew that was true. I ran into Abe.
married Sarah Lincoln, or Sarah. Yeah, Sarah Lincoln was Abe's sister. But here's a couple famous Grigsbys. Now tell me if you know who they are. Hugh Grigsby.
No.
Hugh Grigsby is a Virginia congressman, statesman.
Wow.
Famous in history. Andrew Jackson Grigsby.
Really?
Yes, Andrew Jackson Grigsby is a colonel from the Confederate Army. He fought some battles and stuff. He's a badass.
Dude, I appreciate you doing this research. This is cool.
Yeah. I got you on this. Boomer Grigsby. Boomer Grigsby. You know who Boomer Grigsby is? He's a Florida boy. He was actually a linebacker for the Dolphins.
Really?
Boomer Grigsby. You want to write this down? You want me to give you a minute to get a pen, or you're good?
I remember every bit of this.
Okay, you can watch this back too. Charles Grigsby. Charles Grigsby.
We had a Charles Grigsby here in town. He was in the newspaper or something, but I don't think I'll know this one because this one's got to be really famous.
This guy is actually a contestant on The Voice, Charles Grigsby.
Wow.
No, I mean, really, American Idol. I made the voice thing up since we were talking about it, but it's American Idol. John Grigsby. Do you know who John Grigsby is? He wrote Beowulf. Beowulf. Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, you got a famous last name. Not only are you a hell of a bass fisherman and an outdoorsman, but you have some lineage, bro. You got some lineage.
Do I fit in there somewhere?
You are a famous professional bass fisherman, so you are at the top of my list. Shaw Grigsby.
Yeah, when these other Grigsbys go through this, he's going to be on the list, right?
Exactly.
Professional bass fisherman.
Exactly. I mean, when I interview Sarah Lincoln, who was married to Aaron Grigsby, and ask her about that and what she did for Abe and all that stuff, yeah, I don't even know. Hey, Guys, you got anything you want to ask Shaw before we head out of here? We're right up against the clock here.
Yeah, I got a couple quick ones. What is your favorite bed bait when you're sightseeing them?
Sight fishing.
You know,
seesaw sight.
I catch more on a rage bug. Some people call it a structure bug, but a rage bug than anything else. It used to be the rodent. Now it's a rage bug. My biggest bass I've ever caught was on a rodent, Strike King rodent. So, but the rage bug has just got so much more going on. It's just incredible bait. Just small, compact, kind of like a crawfish getting in the bed. They can't handle it.
All right, this is one we kind of ask everyone. White or black frog, and why?
Black. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the right answer.
It's really cool because Ish is a heck of a good frog fisherman. Ish Monroe, in fact, one of the best. And he uses, I think if you ask him, he'd say white was his favorite. Mine is black.
So was Aaron Martins. He picked white also.
Shaw is the first one to get the question correct.
I use them both, but I do keep predominantly black is what I start with. I love it. I think it silhouettes better. They see it better. I catch more fish. I got more confidence.
There you go.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs. I got a
absolutely.
That's my son's that stays at our house and
you failed.
Love her.
You failed.
He's killing it. Killing it.
It's JP Kitty. You failed.
Hey, I've had kitties. I've had lots of cats, but I just can't help it, man. This dog, I can show you a picture on my cell phone. She's really special.
No, I love all animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Shaw.
Hey, Shaw, thank you so much, man, again, for taking some time out of your evening and hanging out with us goofballs, man.
Man, thank you for having me and being on there. And, hey, if anybody wants to keep up with me, Shaw Grigsby fan page on Facebook, man. I'm there all the time. In fact, a guy was texted me today or messaged me today, and he said, man, I can't believe you're just answering me right off the bat. And I go, I try to. I do it for myself, so, man, I love it.
Hey, best of luck to you in your upcoming season, and enjoy some home time with that family, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, Shaw Grigsby right here on the Bass Buzz. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, hey, coming up next, Out of the Box with Bobby B. All things jigs. Don't you go nowhere.
Want some more exclusive JDM tackle? Join JDMTackleMembersOnly.com. This is a brand new membership website that gives their members the exclusive rights to custom limited edition Japanese baits in colors that cannot be purchased anywhere else. Sign up now and you will receive 2 free Mega Bass Vision 110s in Kasumi Tiger and Smallmouth Bass. That's totally worth the membership. Go to JDMTackleMembersOnly.com today. Where do you go for all the hard-to-find Japanese domestic tackle? Lee's Global Tackle, the connection for all the hottest baits and lures straight from Japan. Lee's Global Tackle has 2 locations, the main store in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, and our other store in Carroll Stream, Illinois. Stop in at Lee's Global Tackle and meet John Moy. He'll show you some of the coolest baits not available anywhere else. Catering secret tournament winning baits to the fishing community for over 17 years, Lee's Global Tackle.
Chicago shoreline. You better not get in his way, cause his iron's on the prize. Look out, it's a Southside smallmouth samurai. Tell you where, it's a Southside smallmouth samurai. Tell you where, it's a Southside smallmouth samurai. His name is a Southside smallmouth samurai.
Boom, right there.
I love the harmonica tonight.
Won't tell you about Buddy Bobby. He got out of the box. I won't tell you about my buddy, that Bobby. He got out of the box tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, right here. Bobby Berger in the Southside Smallmouth Samurai. Out of the box. Yeah. Sing me a song, Bobby.
It's been a great show tonight. Shaw Grigsby was awesome.
He was.
Yeah.
Know what's great about having these bass anglers on our show?
Tell me, Bobbert.
You actually get to dive into their lives and learn a different perspective you don't learn on other shows.
It is. And he's chilling out and eating chicken of the woods at his kid's house. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So on Out of the Box today, I want to talk about jig fishing. And, you know, jig fishing is an essential part of every bass angler's box. You need to have a jig out there. And we have experts in the studio today. You know, Ryan and JP with the finesse tightrope jigs.
You guys are experts.
Yes.
Me?
Yes,
What are
you
those?
guys are. You make a jig that catches big Lake Michigan
Pros
smallmouth
are
all
here.
over. What up? What up? Larry Kyleman's in studio producing the heck out of this show.
Yeah.
Pat, I would say you're an expert at flipping jigs.
I love the flip of the jig.
And we have Steve Mui sitting to my left here.
Muy, muy, muy.
And what I know about you, it seems like you're an expert at fishing weed lines with jigs.
Yes, I do like to fish weed lines. I do love to flip the jig too, though.
Flipping the jig,
Flipping the
dude.
jig. Flipping
That
the
dem jig, you know, this is a shameless sponsor plug, but I'm going to
Yeah.
get this out of the way right here. Best flip jig I've ever used. Hands down. Love it. I love it.
It's got a good hook.
It's got a good hook. The way that
Yep.
line tie is set up, it pops them in the top of the mouth, and you just flip them in the boat.
Always.
Flipping the jig. Love the dem jig.
I'll tell you what. I always have a half-ounce dem jig. Every lake I've gone to, I've got one tied on.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree, absolutely.
For sure.
Okay, now that shameless sponsor plug is done, back to you, Bob.
Well, let's
That's
move
not a
on to
sponsor
Bro
plug,
Varney
though.
and tightrope.
Yeah,
now.
I might as well. Just make it.
Yeah.
Pat, let's start out with you.
Okay.
Tell us a few things that'll make you a better flipping jig fisherman.
A better jig flipping
Flippin'
fisherman.
jig fisherman.
Okay.
They're flipping jig fishermen.
Well, I am a flipping nut and a flipping jig fisherman, and I do. And lately, there's a time to determine whether they're going to hit now a Texas rig or a jig. The jig is usually a bigger fish bait, and the way I'm determining that is based on the cover that I'm fishing. All right, I like to flip a lot of nasty stuff. A lot of guys flip jigs in grass. I don't have the best luck with it. I'm too impatient to do it. So in that instance, I'm using a Texas rig. When I'm flipping wood, most of the time, I'm going to be flipping a jig, and especially this time of the year right now. Half-ounce stem jig, as John Mui told, or Steve Mui told us. John Mui from Lee's Global Tackle. How you doing? Good to see you. No, the half-ounce. I told you I would do that. Me and Ryan had a bet. I owe you $40. Sorry.
Yeah.
The half-ounce jig. Now, what a lot of people fail to realize about when they're flipping a jig is they're like, oh, half-ounce might be too heavy for the situation. Okay. A 3/8 might be too light for the situation. A way to increase bites when flipping a jig is realize that you can always control the ROF. That's the rate of fall when you're flipping a jig. Simply by doing a couple things. Instead of just letting it free fall down on the flip, down like that, you kind of follow it down with your rod or keep the line a little tighter. You can control the rate of fall. Also by adjusting trailers. Different trailer types adjust the rate of fall. I, most of the time, 90% of the time, flipping a half-ounce jig. I adjust the trailers according to the fall. That's the biggest tip that I can give people.
That was beautiful, Pat.
Well, thanks. Thank you very much.
Rate of fall.
That's the deal. The trailer is so important on a jig. It's so important on a jig.
What trailers do you like using when you're flipping?
You know, I like, there's a couple basic styles I use. I'm either flipping something on the back of a jig that's like a crawl imitation, something with the flappy appendages, all right? Or I'm throwing a beaver style bait on the back. And again, with that beaver style bait, you're getting a quick fall. With the crawl baits with the appendages, it's flippity flappity and it's slowing it down.
What about a big chunk?
A big old chunk?
Big chunk.
Like a number 11 Uncle Josh pork rind?
I don't know.
Actually, we still have some over here.
We're too young for
you want to
that.
play sniff the pork rind jar? I don't.
No, I'm good.
I don't either. But
Those are awesome.
you know, I very seldom use a chunk, and some of my buddies kick my ass flipping using the old chunk. But it's just a confidence thing, man. It's that C word, you know. Orange is the new black. You know what I'm saying?
That's a Tommy
true?
Billings trailer.
It is a Tommy Billings or a Kyle Prescalo trailer or a Andy Ellenberger trailer. As we
I'm
refer
learning
to it.
things from the guy next to me here.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Isn't that nice?
That's why I'm here for you people, not
Not
just to
bad.
play the harmonica, but to teach you about flipping a jig.
We got to get technical a little bit on this show. It's not all fun and games.
Yeah, to
Even
me it
though-
is.
Even though it is.
Yeah.
Even though it really is.
Want me to play more harmonica?
Yes.
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
Anything else you'd like to add, Pat?
I would like to congratulate you again, Bobby, on being on the cover of Midwest Outdoors with that King Salmonoid. Right there, you can pick up this copy of Midwest Outdoors at any fine sporting goods store that carries the Midwest
At a
Outdoor
newsstand
publication.
near you.
Walgreens.
Yes, yeah, Walgreens at the Green.
Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart. The Pro Bass Shop now that owns Cabela's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pro Bass.
and we have a major announcement. Also, Bass Pro Shops just bought Dick's Sporting Goods. They also bought what other store?
Bob's Tackle.
Bob's Tackle over
Angler's
in
Outlet.
Angler's Outlet. They bought Bass Pro Shop
They
now
bought
owns
Sleezes.
everything and Sleezes.
Stray cat. They bought stray cats.
In fact, wait, this just in. They now own Steve Mui. Also, they also own Steve Mui. So
I need a new boat.
you're doing good, dude. You're doing good.
At least he gets to fish in the tank, though.
He does.
Whenever
They
he
own that
wants.
trophy right there, actually. That's for real.
Steve, you have to hold the trophy over your head real quick.
Just
Do
do it
I?
for Bobby.
Yes.
Do it for
All right. Come on,
Bob.
please.
Do it for
Bobby.
Bob. Yeah. Yeah. Woo!
Where's my fireworks?
Yeah. Where's the studio audience?
I got some at home, actually. I forgot I was going to bring them.
Yeah. Woo!
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how we do it.
Now, Steve, other than being on the trail, your home lake is Lake Geneva, am I right?
Yeah. It's the closest one to my house that has good fishing in it. I mean, there's a chain, but I don't really go there.
And that's really where you cut your teeth at jig fishing weed flats or
Yeah.
weed lines.
I learned how to fish a football jig on Lake Geneva.
Now, how do you now? Technically, football jigs are normally fished around rocks and
Rock,
deep ledges,
Right.
and people normally throw a cone style fishing in the weeds.
Right.
What is it about the football head that's good on Lake Geneva in the weeds?
I think Lake Geneva, the football head is so good because you're fishing a lot of deep structure, not necessarily fishing rock or whatever, but that football head helps keep your bait on the bottom. And, you know, a lot of people, when they're working the rod tip up, I've noticed, is you're pulling that bait way off the bottom. What I learned on Lake Geneva is you got to keep your rod tip down because you want that bait on the bottom.
Okay.
And that football head, since it's so wide, it helps keep their bait closer to the bottom. I don't know, whatever reason, because the way it's shaped, when you pull it, drags a little bit better than like I guess the teardrop shape.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Does
sure.
it hang up more, or do you notice that, or
it actually getting hung up in the grass.
Is that
fishing
what you wanna
it,
do?
It helps, because you know the bass don't see what's going on. They see the grass moving. They come over and look at what's going on, and they see a jig pop out.
Yeah, and then they get hit with
just
a
eat
1
it.
ounce jig in the
Yeah, they
face.
just eat it.
That's how I sight fish.
They got two decisions: either scoot off and run away from it, or just eat it. They don't have hands, so they just stick it in their mouth.
Like a great white. They
Yep.
just take a bite.
Yep.
That's their hands, dude.
You're like, what is this?
See that movie, The
can I eat it?
Shallows, Steve Mui? Did you see The Shallows
did
yet?
not see it.
Blake Lively is a babe. I highly recommend the movie The Shallows. The whole time you will not think about bass fishing as you're watching The Shallows.
What was his name again?
No, that's Blake Lively. She's hot as can be. I see what you're like. Okay, like Blake is a boy's name. No,
Yeah,
Blake
you
Lively.
didn't say she. You just said Blake Lively is a babe.
All our bass fishing viewers know that Blake Lively is a babe.
Pat's a babe?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Bob. Thank you.
I've heard that said about you.
Thank you very much. Bass supermodel.
Yeah.
Steve, how do you dissect weed lines?
His name's John.
How do you know what?
Nothing. Sorry.
Weed lines?
Now you're gonna confuse me.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
actually gonna
I'm sorry.
say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, deep water weed lines it's the same as everything really in bass fishing. Is you want to look for something irregular. I usually will focus on like a point in the weeds, or a hole in the weeds or something. And you could, with technology now, you can just drive down the side of a weed line with your graph, and there's like a hard bottom. You're just looking for something a little different. It's no different than going down the bank, where you're going down the bank, it's all rock, and then there's one magic stick sitting there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing, but you're in 20 feet of water. You're just looking for irregularities, and that's usually where the bass are hanging out.
Now you throw that dem jig a lot. What trailers are you using in the weeds?
I do like flipping in the grass. I'll use, it all depends. I like to pick my trailers based on the water temperatures.
Okay.
usually when it's a little bit warmer, I'll use something with more action, like like a rage crawl or something like that. But I've been using the baby D-bomb a whole lot, anywhere, basically all the time, and that, like Pat was saying, adjusting your rate of fall and stuff is like you could put a bigger one on there, but I do like to throw, a D-bomb or a baby D-bomb, and then the, rage crawl when it's a lot warmer. So those are basically two styles of baits I always throw on that thing.
That D-bomb is awesome on that. That's what I've been throwing on the big half ounce too.
We're going to the same school, Steve.
Awesome glide.
Right. Dude,
when you use the full size one, that thing gets this glide.
Yeah,
that's really
cool.
That's
another thing about this bait is it glides really well, and you could swim it really good. And if you put like a paddle tail on this jig, the bait will rock back and forth.
Oh yeah.
So it looks good.
You can swim that thing.
Yeah. Very, very versatile.
It jukes.
Right.
We call it juking.
And one thing I wanted to bring up is what I've noticed a lot of people is fluorocarbon or braid. I throw braid on a jig probably 95% of the time.
Really?
Yeah. At Champlain, crystal clear water, I've thrown the braid the whole time, 50 pound.
Wow.
I don't think it makes a difference because, you're fishing grass and stuff, and that's going to increase your hookup ratio.
Why not use the braid?
Right.
Go with the Hackney principle.
You're going to hook up. You're going to get a lot better hookups too with braid. Because there's been times, you guys ever get, I call it getting handcuffed. You got your rod up here.
Oh yeah, I call them wrist herders.
And you get a bite and your rod's here. With fluorocarbon, you're never catching that fish.
No.
Braid, you can move the rod like 6 inches and you're gonna get a hook in
A
them.
lot of the time, I don't think it makes a difference because people don't know it. The jig bite's a reaction bite, like 90% of the time.
Yeah,
when it pops out, they eat it.
It is for sure.
They don't have hands. They gotta.
I think that, but if you're out there throwing that big football jig and you're dragging it through rocks, you're throwing that on fluorocarbon.
Oh yeah, it's a utility thing with fluorocarbon because you're fishing deep. You want your bait's not going to work correctly with braid.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. You want the rainbow.
Well, in Geneva, you could read a book in 16 feet of water, so
right.
You gotta. I think it matters there. But if you're around heavy cover, I don't think it matters.
The most important thing I think with jig fishing is confidence. I mean, the guys who do well with it, they throw it all day and they stick with it. They have patience. They stick with it all day. They get the 5 bites. And
I'm fishing for 5 bites.
Yeah, it's the same thing Ish Monroe said about the frog. Is the guy, what makes a good frog fisherman? You throw the thing all day.
And for the record, I hate
totally true
statement. I'm fishing for 5 bites.
Dude,
I'm fishing for 100 bites, but I only get 5
turn
bites.
his head. Couldn't even
Especially
turn
around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those. Yeah, there's all the cliches. They're really getting worn out too now.
He
I mean,
choked
it.
Everyone says that.
If I can get to my fish, I'm gonna catch them.
If I can catch 5 of the biggest ones, I'll win.
If I get 5 bites,
yeah, you will.
If I always just say if I would have caught that 5th one, I would have won.
Last weekend I said if you'd have given me one more day out there, I'd have caught 5 fish for 3 days.
Well, now that Shaw clued you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did exactly what he was saying to do too. That's what's kind of frustrating right now.
Well, they're fish. They don't
I
follow
let the
any rules.
Senko just lay in there. And they didn't care. So those were uncatchable.
We
fish. I
hijacked
should've
Bobby's
left.
segment.
Yeah. Now, Ryan.
Sorry, Bob.
Thank you, Steve. You're a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you for having me.
Ryan, now we have to talk about finesse jigging. You're
Okay.
an expert at it.
I like it.
You stick plenty of smallmouth, largemouth on the tightrope finesse jig. How do you do it, man? What makes you a good jig
It's
fisherman
not a finesse
besides
jig.
holding on to it? A super duper
Power
finesse jig.
It's a super jig.
Super
JP
jig.
calls it a super jig.
What is it called, Pat?
It's a little tiny popcorn firework finesse jig
the key with the little
with a
jig
crappie hook, but it's
is,
awesome.
You have to be. I am not a patient guy at all. I mean, I prefer to be throwing a frog and snapping it real fast and covering a ton of water. But I live in Chicago, so I got to catch these smallmouth that are out there because they're really fun to catch. And the only way to catch them is with a little jig most of the time. You can get them jerk baiting or whatever, but you just got to fish slow. It's got to be very, very slow. And I'm throwing like a 3/16 ounce jig, little tiny jig on 12-pound fluorocarbon on a bait caster.
And you're fishing deep water with
Yeah,
that
like,
too. Like most
I
guys
can do that
would
in
think
30 feet. Yeah,
half ounce or an ounce
Right.
in that depth of water. But
Doesn't
you
work
want to
as
keep
well.
it lighter.
it doesn't work as well in what I'm fishing it in. It just doesn't work. It's got to be smaller for whatever reason. And that's why we started making that jig, in the first place. But yeah, like Steve was saying, is one of the biggest things, if you're trying to get a small jig deep and keep it down there, you have to fish it with your rod tip down. And I pretty much got my rod tip in the water, or an inch above the water. And then all you're doing is just kind of pulling it. JP kind of showed me something a couple of years ago with, fishing a jig trying to resemble gobies. You got to do the scoot. You don't hop it. You don't hop that thing off the bottom ever. Fishing for smallmouth, I don't think. At least I never do. You want to keep it on the bottom, and then you want to move it, with quick little scoots.
It's the kiddie trail.
Pretend you're fishing a jerkbait in 40-degree water. Super, super slow. So you're just making little tiny snaps of that jig, and you're trying to stir up the silt. And
sounds painful.
That's what a goby does. Yeah, but when you get on them, and all you got to do is wait for a while to let that thing sink, and then you pull it 2 feet, and they thump the crap out of it.
That sounds
And
fun.
that's, when that happens, 10 times an hour, it's totally fine. And that's what happens out there when you hit them right. And, in the spring and the fall, that's what we're doing. It's just
Also,
inching that jig.
The little jig, because I was getting the same bites with real jigs. Lake Michigan eats them. You lose every heavier jig you throw, and I couldn't afford it.
So those lighter jigs probably come through the cover better.
Yeah, they
too.
glide. You get that glide, and also if you watch a goby swim along the bottom, they glide. They don't like stick to the bottom. They just kind of hover. They're like a hovercraft on those rocks and in that silt, and they're just kind of hovering around. And with that light jig and that little bit heavier line, that's exactly what it does down there when you're twitching it. Is it's gliding, and it just when you get that bite from that 4 or 5 pounder. And how hard they bite it while that jig's like almost laying still, they believe it.
Right.
They're like, that's a freaking goby, and I'm going to eat it really hard right now.
The fish will tell you.
Yeah, and that's the key. A lot of guys go out and they're fishing the jig with the tip up, and they never get a bite. They don't hit it on the fall out there very often, so you have to be working it correctly to get bit. And that's the big thing. Keep the tip down.
Tip of the week.
Tip of the week.
Tip of
You
the
heard
week.
it
Keep
here
the
on
tip
Slowcast.
down.
Tip this down.
From everybody around here.
Keep the tip wet.
Keep it wet.
Yep.
And then the super finesse jigs like you're talking about, you got to throw like 4-pound tests, and I don't have enough time to explain.
Yeah, that's crappie fishing.
Yeah, it is crappie fishing. When I throw that jig in inland lakes, you catch crappies on it. But that's beyond patience. I don't know. Throw it out there, let it sink, text somebody, and then start working it.
Hey, there it is. Out of the box with Bobby Bergeron. Jig fishing explored in depth right here on Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. We're going to come back with the Bassin Roundtable, and I think we're just going to make animal sounds for the last 10 minutes, so stick around. Don't anybody go anywhere. This is the madness. Continued when we come back. Welcome back. You ready for a little jive talking? Because that's all we got left. A little bit of jive talking right here on Straycast Outdoor Cartoon Television.
Sanyo Pity on the run.
I got a question for you guys.
Oh, yeah. Steve Mui!
Really quick.
Steve Mui.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Bassin Roundtable.
How come your guests don't get a sweet chair?
Oh, yeah.
That is a good
That's why you
question.
got to get your own water, too. we don't do that kind of stuff. What do you think this is? Bass Center?
I don't know.
You think we're Brymer Velvic?
We need to get bought out by Bass Pro Shops so we can
they're
afford some new chairs.
Let me text Johnny Morris right now.
Yeah, text that guy.
The answer is no. The answer is no.
Quick response
Yeah,
for a busy guy.
Yeah, me and Johnny are tight. But you know what? I want to tell you something. Was talking with one of my buds today, and it's his birthday. We'd like to extend a special Straycast birthday wish to our buddy James M.F. Watson Worldwide.
Hey,
Happy birthday, James Watson.
Pat, I'm so glad you said that. It reminded me.
Yes.
It's my brother, Brett Whitaker's 40th birthday today.
Brett Whitaker's?
Yeah.
Happy
birthday, Brett.
Happy birthday, Brett. Yes. He shares a birthday with James
With
Mofo
James
Watson.
Yeah.
Right there. He's
That's
the
not bad.
James the Conqueror. You guys want to sing him happy birthday in 6 different languages?
I don't sing.
No.
Okay. No, I do. I speak like 7 languages, actually. 7 languages. Hey, this is the Bassin Roundtable where we just talk about whatever the hell is on our mind. And let me get this out of the way, too, before I forget. Ladies and gentlemen, Jen Berg is in the house. Yeah. Jen Berg is over there in the house, Snapchatting the hell out of us. Yes, that happens right here. Hey, fall is a magical time to bass fish. Probably one of my favorite times of the year to bass fish.
Me too.
Of course, spring and fall. Fall and spring are known for the choo-choos, the slubber-de-gullions, the fatty magoos, the real beasts of the world to come out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
Fall fishing can be a curse and a blessing. A lot of times, fall bass fishing is as easy as following the bait. But the problem that you run into sometimes with following the bait is just like Shaw Grigsby and I were talking about earlier. Like, you get a belly full of Long John Silvers, and it's so good, but you're just feeling kind of bleh, and you can't eat anymore. And that's what these bass are doing at the end of the year. They're gorging because they know what is coming up, especially here in the north. My question to you guys on the round table: how do you catch a bass with a belly full of bait? JP, how do you do it?
Yeah, JP did this last weekend.
How do you do it, JP?
You throw the rig. You dead stick the rig.
Dead stick the rig. And congratulations to JP
exactly
High
right, actually.
on his win at the Cass Nation tournament in West Wisconsin.
Thank
Yes,
you.
he's a tournament
He won that thing
hero.
by 11 pounds.
Tournament hero.
That's
11
that's
pound
not
margin.
the A rig. That's the Ned rig.
This damn Ned rig again.
Everyone in the
Old
tournament
Flanders
was throwing an A rig.
Flanders failed horribly with Shaw Grigsby. He did
And
not
I-
know what I was talking about.
I threw the Ned.
He threw the Ned.
Yeah.
You love the Ned rig.
I'm starting to.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you won by 11 pounds.
Yeah,
He knocked it
was
out.
it was ridiculous because he's right. Most of the guys were throwing A rigs that caught him. He's like the only one that caught him good that wasn't throwing.
He gets the
A-rig.
sissy stick out and Ned rigs him.
He's just
And it worked.
catfishing back there.
And
What
it
lake was
worked.
this?
Green, big green.
Big Green. Big old
Yeah.
Green Lake. Yep, it's in Wisconsin.
And
He
the
won the
bait,
tournament,
The bait
didn't they?
was.
I
the
mean,
bait was yeah.
You do nothing. I was just. Yeah.
I'm not going to kid you. I've been catching some fish on that
I'll tell you
stupid
guys
thing, too.
something.
Congratulations to Josh Credidio too for winning on the
Yeah,
Burger Club.
Josh.
He's smoking.
Congratulations, Josh.
He,
Credidio?
I got to watch him catch all those fish.
That's
and
an
it's
awesome
really cool.
last name, Credidio.
Thanks for
My
letting me watch.
co-angler at Oneida was throwing a Ned rig on the second day. He ended up winning the tournament.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
We need to stop talking about this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's out of the bag. I mean, remember how good swimming a jig was when that first
Right.
happened? You know, I mean,
I think it makes boaters mad.
It looks like a turd.
It definitely
Yeah.
made your butters mad.
It made me mad. My co-angler was kicking my butt.
and you're like, damn, I could have used one of those 7.5
It's-
pounders you
yeah.
caught.
It's the dumbest looking bait there's ever been, too.
It
It's
is.
so stupid. I mean, I don't even like to look at it.
And it
It
works.
catches them.
And
It
it
does.
works.
It,
It
definitely catches them.
I'm just fishing for 100 bites.
Yeah. So JP, the fish you were fishing for had a belly full. They had a belly full. So basically, what you did, you finessed them. I mean, I guess we could call it that you were finessing them. So that's one option. That's one option. Bobby, what's another option for catching a bass with a belly full of bait?
I love throwing the A-rig.
The A-rig.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, good answer, because you are exactly right. Especially in the fall of the year when those shad bunch up. There's something about that A-rig and something about the way they hit it that makes it pretty magic.
Oh, it's ferocious. They rip
What
it
if-
out of your hands.
They
It's
sure
the
do.
greatest bite in bass fishing.
Isn't
I
that
think.
nuts, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hit that thing harder than anything.
I'm throwing it on that Revo winch, and it's got like 30-something pounds of drag or something, right? I mean, it's stupid how much drag. It's like a saltwater reel. And I've had bites on that A-rig while they're actually pull drag on you. It's dumb. It is absolutely dumb. Now,
Can
you,
I just
blades or
state
no
that
blades?
you don't like them. I know.
hate this topic.
You hate the A-rig. You-
Blades
I do.
or no
I do
blades
hate
on
it.
A-rig?
I hate the
I
A-rig.
like, I like blades.
I've been told
You like
blades.
the blades?
yeah.
As far as I know.
With that
blades,
little-
but I don't.
As long as there's a little chop on the water.
I don't hate the
Yeah.
A-rig. I hate that it's banned in some tournaments and not in the others.
You
So
hate how
I don't
good it
throw
is.
it.
You don't need it in
I don't throw
tournaments.
it.
You don't need it in tournaments.
I
think
won't
no.
throw it
You know.
because I don't want to get good at something that I potentially could run into the situation where it's like all I know how to catch them on is its A-rig, and I can't
Sometimes
throw
that's
it.
all you can catch them on.
But if you can't
crazy.
throw it in that tournament, then like I want to learn the other way to catch them.
Helps you find fish
Yeah.
though.
That's
it's a
true.
tool.
It
That's true.
certainly does. Another option that I like to use for catching fish with bellies full of bait in the fall is a square bill crankbait, and they have to be special square bill crankbaits. They have to be a bait that'll hunt. Okay, a lot of times just that straight old wiggle right there is not going to do it. But you get a bait with an erratic action that's going to hunt from side to side, like a balsa crankbait.
Like Phil Hunt.
Like a Phil Hunt crankbait. Get it? Hunt, Phil. Isn't
Yeah.
it ironic that his
Yeah.
name is that? A lot of times that'll trigger these fish into eating too. And I'm throwing a big bait, like a balsa B3 size bait or a mag hunter, something like that. Not a 1.5 size, not the little size, even if the bait is small. I'm throwing the big square bill crankbait that's going to juke and jive, just like Steve Mui was talking about that juke action, that roll action of the jig. This square bill crankbait, the juking and jiving and the hunting, can trigger strikes when nothing else can. That's my deal. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wind the hell out of it, and as fast as I can. Just wind that thing in like a maniac.
Yeah.
Like a maniac. How about you? What about you, Steve?
Jerk bait.
Jerk bait, there it is.
Ripping it as hard and as fast as you can.
As crazy,
Ripping it.
just ripping the snot out of the
Ripping
thing.
it.
See, that's one of my favorite
That-
bites.
That's
in
one of
fishing.
the things I notice a lot of people don't do is you rip that jerk bait.
Yeah.
You don't let it stop. A lot
Watch-
of people think a
watch
jerk
KVD
bait.
does it like that,
Yeah.
don't he?
A lot of people are
Right?
like, oh, I gotta let my jerk bait sit for 30 seconds. I'm
That's
like,
in the cold.
nah.
That's when it's 42
Yeah.
degrees.
But even sometimes then, doing it like Steve's talking about.
If
Yep.
it's a smallie, he wants it fast.
Yeah.
I don't care what the water temperature is.
Yep. Yeah, if they're triggered, they're coming to get it.
They're gonna
Yeah.
they're gonna wreck it.
Absolutely.
They're gonna wreck
You know,
it.
I fished that thing in big bait balls, so I threw like 4 different kinds of jerk baits. They wouldn't eat that thing. Nothing made sense.
He
in
is
green
so
light.
hung up on that tournament.
You
I
gotta-
am.
he
I
is-
can't get over
Jen
it.
Berg sent him to his psychologist.
I need one.
The kid's wrecked.
I need one.
He's
Hey,
absolutely
Yeah.
wrecked
Hey,
right there.
I threw a square bill in that same.
Yeah, he
big
caught him
ball,
on square bill.
and caught him.
You
And I
did.
threw the Ned rig in that same ball of bait fish.
Right.
This guy right here. This is the
Yeah.
tournament
He
superstar.
could have caught him on a dill rod.
Hey, I'm glad that your tournament confidence and your faith in bass fishing is restored after your big win. I can see it, dude. You got a magic kind of space cadet glow going on.
You got a
No,
sparkle.
I don't give a damn.
That's not true. That is not true at all. Don't let him fool you, fans. Don't let him fool you. Hey, Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television, the Bassin Roundtable winds up. Hey, next week, we got our buddy Brandon Palaniuk coming on the show. OBP, going to shed some knowledge right there on the Skype Litoscope machine. And don't forget, you can go back and watch past episodes of Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television, our YouTube channel, Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television, or simply go to our website, straightcast.net. Hey, I'm Pat Renwick, Ryan Whitacre, JP, hi, Bobby Berggren,
Kitty.
and Steve Mui.
Yo.
Thank you to Andy Ellenberger, the Ginger, for producing, to Larry Kyleman for producing, to Shaw Grigsby for being on the show, and most importantly, to all of you out there in the internet world for making this show possible. We will catch you next week right here on Straight Cast. Ciao. Fish it out.